Hello and welcome. You're watching News9 Live. Our top story at this hour, the Calcutta High Court on Tuesday ordered transfer of probe into attack on Enforcement Directorate officials in Sandesh Khali to the Central Bureau of Investigation. Soon after the matter of handing over the Sandesh Khali case to CBI reached the Supreme Court, the West Bengal government has challenged the decision of Calcutta High Court in the Supreme Court and has demanded a stay on the High Court order. Senior lawyer Abhishek Manu Singhvi said that Calcutta High Court has ordered to hand over all the documents related to the case to the CBI by 4:30 p.m. today. Calcutta High Court had ordered Bengal police to hand over Sandesh Khali accused Trinamool Congress strongperson Shahjahan Sheikh to CBI by 4:30. Shahjahan Sheikh is the prime accused in the case. 3 ED officials were injured and several of their vehicles were vandalized by hundreds of supporters of Shahjahan Sheikh in January of this year. The attack occurred when the ED team went to raid Shahjahan Sheikh's house in Sandesh Khali in connection with alleged irregularities in the PDS scheme.
Kolkata High Court transferring the matter of Shahjahan Sheikh from the West Bengal police to the CBI evokes only one response, Satyamev Jayate. सत्यमेव जयते इसलिए कहा जा रहा है क्योंकि ये तस्वीर आपको हमेशा याद रखनी होगी। ये तस्वीर दरअसल शाहजहां मानसिकता की है तृणमूल कांग्रेस में। ये तस्वीर दरअसल शाहजहां के सेकुलर संरक्षण की है टीएमसी में। ये तस्वीर दरअसल टीएमसी का मतलब आज तालिबानी मानसिकता और कल्चर कैसे बन चुका है उसको चरितार्थ करता है। और आज इस तस्वीर के ऊपर कोर्ट का एक करारा तमाचा और हथौड़ा पड़ा है, यह दिखाते हुए कि जो सेकुलर संरक्षण पिछले 50 से अधिक दिनों तक शाहजहां को वोट बैंक के नाम पर दिया गया, जिस प्रकार से उसे पहले गिरफ्तार नहीं किया गया, फिर आनन फानन में जब कोर्ट के आदेश आने लगे, पत्रकार बंधुओं ने इस विषय को प्रमुखता से उठाया, एकाध पत्रकार को जेल में ठूस दिया गया, वहां पर फैक्ट फाइंडिंग टीम पहुंची, वहां पर जिस प्रकार से भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ताओं और नेताओं ने जिस प्रकार से प्रमुखता से संदेश खाली की महिलाओं की बात रखी, तो आनंद फानन में ममता बनर्जी ने, जिन्होंने उन्हें विधानसभा में बचाव किया था उनका, अभिषेक बनर्जी जिन्होंने बचाव किया था शाहजहां का, आनंद फानन में उन्होंने उनको गिरफ्तार दिखा दिया और पार्टी से निकालने का ढोंग रचा। पर सवाल तो ये था, तुम एक शाहजहां निकालोगे, हर टीएमसी के दफ्तर से शाहजहां निकलेगा।
And to speak more on the issue, I am now being joined by my colleague Gargi Guha of TV9 Bangla. Gargi, if you can hear me. Gargi, tell me something. Lots of twists and turns in this story, as it were. First of all, to hand it over the CBI is to presume that the state government does not have the wherewithal to investigate a case. Of course, there was a long delay in putting Sheikh Shahjahan behind bars. Now the thing is for TMC government to challenge it in the Supreme Court. Decode this for our audiences, Gargi.
Yeah. Thank you. Since I have been given this chance, let me tell you something. Like, see, it took 55 days to arrest Shahjahan, which itself shows the, whether there was really willing government to, kind of arrest him. Secondly, we saw, if we remember the picture, when he was taken inside the court, he was given almost a green corridor treatment. And also the day when he was produced in the district court, he came in a very crisp dress and all. It took only 10 minutes of court hearing to decide that he will be taken to Bhavani Bhavan, which is the CID headquarters in the state. And it took only 1 hour and 35 minutes to reach Kolkata to Bhavani Bhavan from Sandesh Khali. Normally, it takes at least double the time, more than double the time. Okay. So how was it possible? It was like a green corridor treatment for him. So we had seen, the kind of treatment he was given. So there was always a question arising from the opposition, from the common people, that, whether his case would be properly dealt by the state police.
Right.
That question was always there. So it is not really a surprise that he would be asked by the court to be handed over to CBI, the central agency.
Right.
So it has been done. And also just now a news came that 12 crores of his property has been attached, has been taken over by ED. This is the latest information we just got a few minutes back. So this, kind of sums up that why he would be taken by the central agency. And also, we also hear the analysts are also saying that NIA can also come into the scene. If you remember, Shah Jahan, there is an allegation against Shah Jahan that he has given shelter to a lot of Rohingyas. And there is a Rohingya camp running near Sandesh Khali. That allegation has also been there. So if the trafficking part comes in, I'm sure the NIA will also come into the scene.
All right. And before I let you go, Gargi Guha Thakurta, I just want to ask you one last question, is that the TMC challenging this about going to the Supreme Court is obviously a desperate measure. Would you concur, Gargi?
Yes, of course. Yes, of course. I agree with you what you say. There is a saying in this political arena here, like the political analysts, they are saying, why Shah Jahan is so important to TMC. It is also said that he is one of the most important fundraiser for the party.
All right.
That is one thing. And as we know, it has always been said, like, party running in not 24 Parganas, it was, running on a lot of things. And out of that, cow trade and all, everything comes into, and also the smuggling part. Because not 24 Parganas, where Sandesh Khali is situated, it is also, the border area. It shares the border with Bangladesh.
All right. And on that note, Gargi Guha Thakurta, thank you so much for joining us on this broadcast. Thank you indeed.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
And even as we speak about Sandesh Khali, where a few women, rather lots of women were violated allegedly by Sheikh Shah Jahan, the next story also concerns women like you and I. At a time when gender issues actually should be relegated to the back burner because we've moved several notches ahead, it is still a major issue. It is the elephant in the room. If you're not married, it's an issue. If you're married, that's an issue. If you're divorced, very big issue. If you're divorced but you want certain rights, even a bigger issue. This gender bias is going to take millenniums and millenniums before it gets solved. Even as Prime Minister Narendra Modi speaks about Nari Shakti, many of us are still stuck in this rut. If there be a story of gender bias, then nothing beats this one. This is the story of a woman called Divya Modi Tongya, who petitioned the Delhi High Court that she be allowed to revert to her maiden name after her divorce comes through. It seems logical, rather simple, doesn't it? After all, once a woman has filed for divorce and awaiting its fruition, or one who has gotten a divorce, then it is her choice whether she wants to continue with her now defunct married surname or not. If not, then it is indeed a more logical choice, I would imagine. But then it wasn't that simple for Divya, because she faced a government notification, apparently issued by the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, which said that a married woman who wants to use her maiden name after divorce must either furnish divorce papers or a no objection certificate from her husband. Yes, you heard it right. If you are going through one, then get a no objection certificate. The Delhi High Court has now sought the Union government's response by 28th of May, which is the next date of hearing. Divya Modi Tongya in her plea submits that the notification is gender biased and creates unnecessary restrictions for women who seek to exercise their constitutional right to choose their name. In her case, a change of surname by violating Articles 14, 19 and 21. She also added that to get an NOC by its very virtue is objectionable. Divorce proceedings are not, and is reflective of a deep-seated misogyny that wants to control an individual's preference. I totally and completely agree with her as to why I should get a no objection certificate, divorce or no divorce. Many women have taken to using only their maiden name or a combination of maiden and marital name. But then apart from societal pressure and attention, you get asked, is that your dad's name? Then you have your father's name, acha, your husband's name later. Oh, what a combination. Please believe me, still happens. Now, apart from all that attention, it tends to create many hurdles in official paperwork. Say you're applying for a passport, you're opening a joint bank account, or during a child's admission in school. You know what? We live in an India today where the Prime Minister stresses on women's power or Nari Shakti, and this is what a divorced woman or women have to go through.
नारी का नेतृत्व बाकी दुनिया के लिए एक आधुनिक व्यवस्था हो सकती है, लेकिन हम तो महादेव से पहले मां पार्वती और गंगा को प्रणाम करने वाले लोग हैं। आजादी की लड़ाई में लक्ष्मीबाई जैसी वीरांगनाओं से लेकर आधुनिक भारत में मिशन चंद्रयान को लीड करने वाली महिला वैज्ञानिकों तक नारी नेतृत्व का सामर्थ्य क्या होता है, ये हमने हर कालखंड में साबित किया है। आप भी जानती हैं कि हमारे यहां महिलाओं के नाम संपत्ति रखने की परंपरा कम ही रही है। गाड़ी खरीदनी हो तो पुरुष के नाम, जमीन खरीदनी हो तो पुरुष के नाम, दुकान खरीदनी हो तो पुरुष का नाम, घर खरीदना हो पुरुष का नाम। हमारे यहां यही चला करता था, लेकिन मोदी ने आकर देश की माताओं, बहनों, बेटियों के नाम संपत्ति की परंपरा शुरू की है। आज खेल के मैदान से लेकर राफेल उड़ाने तक हर जगह हमारी बेटियां कमाल कर रही है।
Come 8th of March, which is International Women's Day, and women like you and I will be feted, eulogized, celebrated. But then there are cases like Divya Modi Tongya, an educated urban woman who has to go get an NOC from her ex-husband. Can you imagine? This is where we have reached. Let's try and understand this story from two aspects. One is the societal aspect, and the other, of course, is mandatorily the legal aspect. Let me now welcome Rekha Agarwal, Senior Advocate of the Supreme Court, Khushbu Jain, also Advocate at the Supreme Court, Dr. Alok Sharma, who will be joining us, women's rights activist, and Brinda Adige, who is a very well-known social activist. Let me first start with Rekha Agarwal. Rekha Agarwal, I read the story and I fell off my chair. I need an NOC? Seriously? If I'm under... Sorry, Rekha, go ahead.
So actually, I'll say that you're not the only one, because when I also read the news early in the morning, before I was invited to your show, I was absolutely appalled, by the audacity of the ministry to ask for an NOC from the ex-husband, or the divorce papers. So I think that all this talk that we are doing, all I can say over here, that all this talk of providing equality to women, Article 14, Article 19, Article 21 of the Constitution, which on one hand guarantees equality, on the other hand it says that I have a right to lead my life with dignity. I have a right to lead the life of that I want to lead. I also have a right to privacy, which is a very important right. So why should I be disclosing my divorce papers to any government official only because I want to change my name? If I'm divorced, that has got no bearing. The only person who could ever be interested in my divorce as to why it took place, or it could be probably a prospective future bridegroom, but
Yeah.
certainly not any government department. So I think that the very act of telling any woman who's been divorced that you must get an NOC, or you must show your divorce decree and your divorce orders is against the Constitution itself.
Yeah, so let
Constitution
me
of course
come to you.
provides
Yeah,
us
yeah, I
fundamental
just want
rights,
to,
but there
Rekha
are
ji,
certain.
yeah, I'll come to you about the details of it. Let me just get the opening comments. And like you said,
Okay.
I fell off the chair, so did you somewhere. We are all falling off the chair, but I want to tell the
Absolutely.
men that we will fall off the chair, but my God, we will bounce back. And like how? You can't even imagine. Khushbu Jain, your opening comments on this. I want to cover, like I said, we're all women here, and thank God for that. I want to understand the two aspects of it, the societal aspect and the legal aspect. Much like Rekha ji, you're also, an advocate. Tell me about what is so appalling for you as a woman about this entire story.
The very fact that this circular, this policy does not violate the aspect of equality or non-discrimination which is there in our constitution, but also touches or encroaches upon the freedom of expression and personal autonomy, takes away the right. If I have to put it, it should not look harsh, but it actually takes away that I have an ownership to myself being a woman.
Right.
The first that comes is changing the surname itself. It should be my choice whether I want to change the surname or not. We are going on legal, but I'll touch upon society as well, that if I'm not changing my surname after marriage, continuing with my maiden name is where somebody is always being questioned or looked down upon, or questions the wholeheartedness into a relationship that a person is entering into. That are you completely committed to the relationship?
Right.
Is your ego coming in between? So from that aspect to an aspect that we are talking, that law is talking today, when we talk about equality, gender equality, when you talk about I mean, I just heard the statement given by Modi that how our society has been preaching when it comes to women, from Ma Durga to Rani Lakshmi Bai. And today we are still talking about the aspect that I don't have an ownership to myself to speak. So when it comes to legally, that I have to take permission from other person. When it comes to my own basics, that's my identity. Take a permission from the other person about that is something which is not a happy situation for me.
Which
right
is
now.
not happy at all, Khushbu says. And I think, what kind of surnames did, Rani Lakshmi Bai or Ahilya Devi or Akka Mahadevi or so many women, I can go on and on, Meera Bai, where are their surnames? I mean, someone has to look inwards. Brinda Adige, very, very shocking. I think, first I want to cover the societal aspect of this, and I want you to focus on this entire ownership issue, as it were. Before you are married, you are your father's daughter, and see, it's also about a choice, and I think mainly it's about a choice. I want my husband's name next to mine, okay, it's my choice. I don't want it. But then in cases like Divya Modi Tongya, where she says that she wants to revert to her maiden name because her divorce is coming up, is it in court? This notification clearly puts a major barrier or hurdle in front of her. Would you agree, Brinda Adige?
Absolutely. A major hurdle, major barrier. And like you pointed out, Sudha, women to date, irrespective of what the policies, what are the campaign lines, what rules and laws have been brought in, and including our Prime Minister's speech that continues in different forums and at different festivals of the national festivals, women are property of that man, period. Your accomplishments, your agency, our self-worth is not a concern or even important or must mean anything significant to me as a woman. And that the government reiterates. The systematic patriarchy that has continued for ages including after our independence, the laws and the policies and the statements and cabinet orders that have come in, just goes to show that the patriarchy has not yet gone out. We might have a lot of stuff on our books, but social sanctions reiterate systematic patriarchy. And that systematic patriarchy comes out in all of these various ways, making lives miserable for the woman.
Right.
And that property is what we want to question today. We are nobody's property. We own ourselves.
Right. Very well said. We own ourselves. That's what, and that's something we have to keep reiterating. Rekha Agarwal, let's look at it from legalese, from the legal point of view, as it were. Divya, she has also spoken about how it smacks of gender biases, and also Article 19, 21, and there is one more. Correct me if I am wrong. For decoding, for
14,
the
Article
14. Now, for the benefit of the audiences, what does that mean to a woman? Apropos her status in a society or a community like ours.
Article 14, if I may just say succinctly, gives the right to equality. Article 19 allows you to do any trade or profession of your choice. There can be no discrimination in that. And 21 gives you the right to life and to lead the life of dignity, which also includes the right to privacy. So all these three articles, which are fundamental rights, which are given in the Constitution, that is the Bible, that is the Ramayana, that is the Mecca of a legal framework. So there can be no other book, irrespective of your caste, color, creed, religion, sex. There can be no other book beyond that. So once the Constitution has guaranteed us these fundamental rights, irrespective of the fact whether I'm a man or a woman or a transgender, nowadays we can even speak about that, even if I'm a transgender. But equality is now the foundation of a legal framework. And all these big sounding, fundamental rights which are there in the Constitution, which of course the layman may be a little ignorant about, but ultimately what do they emphasize, or what is the object of these fundamental rights? That you are a citizen of India and you have a right to, it's a democratic country first of all, you have a right to lead the life. Certain dignities are attached to that, certain rights are there, certain duties are also there, but as compared, to our neighboring countries, neighboring country, particularly one country, so we have a certain dignity attached to the life, and particularly where women are concerned, we also have Article 15, which is there, which says that if certain, licenses have to be given, certain positive discrimination has to be given, to make the lives of women as well as children better, they are also permissible.
All right.
Like we talk about reservation.
All right. Khushbu,
So
I want to...
keeping this in mind, I think that this notification that the government is, which Divya has challenged in the court, and hats off to her for being so brave. She's already faced the divorce battle, which I must say are very, very painful in our Indian legal framework. So once she has come out of that, she should not be again forced to, face that agony anymore.
But she's already facing it, as in a denial is agonizing, to a great extent.
Yes,
Khushbu,
absolutely. And very humiliating.
Very humiliating, absolutely. And Khushbu Jain, I want to ask you that if Rekha ji and you and all of us know our rights as enshrined in the Constitution, then why this notification? For instance, a theatre or a hall or an ice cream parlor can't have a board saying women are not allowed. I'll challenge it. You have no right. The Constitution, I'm the citizen of this country, even if not, I'm allowed to go into the ice cream parlor. So how can a notification like this be given when it is against the fundamental rights enshrined in the book?
Because we still run through the patriarchy form of system, and in that patriarchy, women are always taken up, as rightly said by Rekha ji, that more of a property. So when you see that's always been, there has always been a lopsidedness when it comes to our patriarchy system, that women are considered less equipped when it comes to decision making, when it comes to control over finances, when it comes to control over themselves, when it comes to choices over profession, choices over school, choices over which profession you want to enter into, and then coming to a question as to what surname you can have, whether you can go out in the night, cannot go out in the night, who you should have permissions from when you go out, so on and so forth.
No, but Khushbu, those are societal. No, those are
where I'm coming on. That's where
Yeah.
I'm coming on. That
Yeah.
society is what reflects when it comes to law. And that's where I think we are seeing that these kind of things are happening. And it's not just in India, it's across globe. US has also faced the similar issues when it comes to patriarchy, when it comes to systems like women and, they fighting with their Fourth Amendment and equality rights imposed in their own constitution as well. So yes, coming directly to your question, I'm also appalled. I'm also shocked that when you talk about equality, and equality is something which everybody understands, and with equality, how can you come to a question? When you come to a stand where there is a policy that violates the basic principle of equality and non-discrimination, which is enshrined in our constitution in 1421, and this practically nothing but encroaches upon the freedom of expression and autonomy of a woman, which is guaranteed. And if I have to see that this undermines the very essence of the gender equality and also reinforces the systematic misogyny, if I have to put it very straight over here.
All
So I
right.
think
Yeah. With that, I take a break in the show, but I'm coming right back. We're talking about how your maiden name could be out of reach if you are going through a divorce, or you are divorced unless you get an NOC from your ex-husband. That is appalling for most women. But what is the other side of it, which I'll discuss after a break? Stay with us.
Bangalore traffic is an example of something that has gone wrong with our system.
We have more than 50 flyovers in Bangalore city. If flyover is a solution to traffic problem, Bangalore should not have traffic problem.
According to TomTom Traffic Index 2022, Bangalore is ranked as the second worst city in the world when it comes to traffic.
The speed limit at the ORR is 80 kilometers per hour, but our vehicle has only moved 10 kilometers per hour.
What Bangalore needs is a surgery, but what we have been offered repeatedly are band-aids.
Only on the world's first news OTT. News9 Plus, ahead of the curve.
Currently, the industry is facing a lot of challenges as far as demand is concerned. Basically, the US markets has slowed down because of high inflation.
So obviously, diamonds being a dream product, something which doesn't have a utility value or is seen as a luxury. So that obviously goes off your shopping list. That's the first item that will go off your shopping list, especially in recessionary trends.
That lab-grown diamonds are not mined, and they do away with the entire mining. So they save up on all the environmental damage that is associated with mining, and of course, the mining cost, which is why they're even more affordable.
People that is impacted by all these recessions are the artisans, are the people who work in this industry, right? But I think lab-grown diamond has allowed them to actually use their skills in the same product.
This and more streaming on world's first news OTT, News9 Plus. Download now.
जानना है तो देखिए, समझना है तो सुनिए, सीखना है तो पूछिए, और कमाना है तो खरीदिए। जानकारी, सलाह और निवेश सब एक ही सुपर ऐप पर। पैसे का सवाल है तो जवाब है Money9। आजादी पैसे की, अभी डाउनलोड करें।
We are trying a lot of experiments, innovations and ideas.
We came out with a new format in audio, which is audio series.
Listening for content-oriented company in India, which is a very unique proposition.
When we look at audio in general, we had music, which is like extremely old format, and then we had podcasts.
A natural extension to Pocket FM is to move from Hindi to regional content. I think I'd love to see their FY24 numbers, which they claim will be close to 1,000 crores. I think there are talks of them to raise another $80 to $100 million of funding.
This and more. Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.
For the very first time in our investigation, we unmasked the killer of Ravindra Matre.
In 5G, we have to stand with the world, and in 6G, we have to lead the world.
Winning a Grammy was an absolutely surreal experience.
Welcome back. We're talking about this issue that you see right here on the wall. Your maiden name shall be out of reach if you are in the midst of a divorce or filed for a divorce and the divorce has come through. We're discussing with three lovely women about what this means, both from the prism of society as well as legalese. Let me now go to Brinda on this. Brinda, tell me something that, the whole point is we've heard what Rekha ji said and also what Khushbu said, both of them lawyers, and they're and both of them agree that it seems to be going terribly against the constitution, as it were. But I want to ask you this, Brinda, that the thing is that my whole question is that it's not as if the government and the respective ministries are not aware of the constitution. They go by the rule book. They are very, very particular about one should only come before two and not the other way around. You and I know when we fill up forms, everything Mr., Mrs., late, Miss, why not this, why not that, etc., etc. What do you think? Khushbu says, look, the law is only reflecting society. So that's what Khushbu is saying. I'm asking you, why would they have a notification like this where they say get an NOC? What if I've had a bitter divorce from my husband and we detest each other? How do you expect him, suppose he's moved on and got married or has a new partner, to give me an NOC? Don't you think that government and other people full of men think of these practical problems as well, Brinda Adige? It surprises me.
It's actually not so much the practical problems as much as the control that men in positions of power and authority want to continuously exert. Now, for instance, look at the department that has issued such a notification, Housing and Urban Affairs.
Yes.
What has that got to do with anybody's surname?
I know.
Are you saying that the people who made these departments and compartmentalized various services and delivery of services, the cream of the society we are talking about, okay? Because this is not done by the politicians. It's done by the cream of the society, the so-called executive, who pass several different exams to reach that position. They have made such a notification. It's not that they are not intelligent. It is that they have not yet got themselves educated to allow that equality that is guaranteed to you and me in our constitution.
Right.
How could this government ever even think that this is the best way to control women? Because women are now getting out of hand. We will make all the rhetoric noises. Beti bachao, beti padhao, woman, you are as equal to me as to anybody else. Here is a gender budgeting that has been done all in your favor. We are being so benevolent in that condescending manner. And that will continue, just using all the nice words, superficial words, because they do not want to lose control. They want to have a say because they think women can't think for ourselves. A. B. They are so in love with their name and their surnames that they think that that must remain there for posterity. No matter what happens to the woman. Aad mein jao, doesn't matter. But my name must Roshan. And that is what we are challenging today and saying, scrap that, shatter it, denotify that really nonsensical notification.
Fantastic. Rekha ji, let me come to you and what Brinda Adige just said, and I want to ask you, there must be a method to this madness. Housing department, urban development, is it about property rights maybe that lay persons don't understand? Do we have Rekha ji with us? I see that her frame is frozen.
Yes.
Rekha ji, are you?
I'm
Yeah,
very much
okay.
there.
Okay.
I'm there.
Yeah, Rekha ji, so tell me something. What must be behind this? Is it because of property rights? Is it because of getting your house registered? I mean, I'm asking you. So today I'm Sudha. Tomorrow I leave Sadanand, then I only become Sudha. Will it become a problem in the house that I own? There must be some method to this, right? I mean, otherwise why would they issue a notification like that ki jao NOC leke aao? It's like, I feel like a school girl ki acha, you want class 12, you want, you wanted this thing, then get a thing from the sports teacher that you haven't hidden a basketball in your bag, kind of a thing, remember? So I want to ask you, what must it be?
We've all gone through it. Yes.
Yeah, I tell you, horrible. I wanted to run away from school, but then we had to get NOC from it. So please tell me, what must it be, Rekha ji?
Sudha ji, I heard the other two speakers, particularly, what Brinda ji said, when she gave the societal aspect of it, and Khushbu has already covered the legal aspect. I think that it goes deep back to our patriarchal mindset, which still, as Brinda ji said, still considers women as property. And it is very sad that even in today's age, when as they're talking about Beti Bachao, etc., anything that women get is given as if it's done a favor to them. Even that, for example, to property. And we had this landmark judgment by the Honorable Supreme Court, where ultimately women have been given a right in the share of their father's property, irrespective of the fact that whether they were born before a particular year or 2005, etc. So they were given a right in the ancestral property. So, as I said, it goes back still to, if I may use the word, the medieval patriarchal mindset, which has always considered women as second fiddle.
So do you think, Rekha ji, I want to ask you, yeah, sure, I'm running out of time. Do you think it will be struck down? Do you think there will be a victory for Divya Modi Tongya? Will it be something which will be nullified? I'm asking you as a lawyer, what do you expect for the Honorable Court? I mean, the High Court has...
that, and 100% certain of that, because thankfully we have got a judicial system, and the writ petition that she has filed, Divya has filed, I wish her all the best for that. And it will be declared ultra vires the constitution. It is an absolutely illegal, mindless, biased and prejudiced notification that has been issued by the ministry, and it will not be very long before this notification will be struck down, because the government lawyer and the department will not be able to give any valid justification for issuing such a notification.
All right, and Dr. Alok Sharma has now joined us, even as I am going to end the show, on the phone line. Dr. Sharma, if you can hear me, welcome to the show. Der aaye lekin durust aaye. Tell me something. What do you think about this entire story, where if you file for divorce and you want to revert to your maiden name, go get an NOC from your husband?
Sudhaji, I would like to say that first of all, women attach the surname of their husband just because of love. I think nobody can force them to add the surname of their husband after their name. We all are working. Our certificates are in our maiden names. When we get any job, any property, anything, we have to produce those certificates which have our maiden name. But after marriage, out of love and affection, we attach this name. So I think nobody can force women to leave that surname after divorce. After divorce, there is no love and affection. So law cannot force women to add the surname of their husband after their name. So I feel that women are free, they are independent, and they should have a choice what name they want to use as their identity. We must respect their right to privacy.
All right, I have 1 minute left, Khushbu. Much like what Rekha ji said, do you think it will be struck down and be relegated to the dustbin?
Absolutely agree with Rekha ji on that, and also to an aspect that we are sitting at a situation where a tangible action to address systematic inequalities is something which is need of the hour, and mere rhetoric or superficial acknowledgement of women's equality without substantive changes backed by legislative measures and a robust social framework is something inefficient and ultimately counterproductive. So I would absolutely agree with Rekha ji over here. It will be struck down. It's a clear case that there is infringement of 3 articles enshrined in the Constitution, and in the aspect where somebody infringes
All
upon.
right.
Yes.
All right, and I think, like Brinda said, that we are not property. Please don't try to own us. I would say that we are like the breeze. You try and catch us, you'll have to follow us all your lives. And on that note, thank you very much to Brinda. Thank you very much to Khushbu. I'm not using the surnames deliberately. And also to Alok, thank you so much. And thank you so much, Rekha. It was a sheer pleasure to have all you lovely women on my show. Thank you. It's an urban problem. They say that soon it will become an epidemic which will spread across the world and perhaps be a reason for nations to go at war with each other. I'm talking about water crisis. And in our country, well, this was one topic which had come up when Karnataka was arguing with Tamil Nadu about its share of Kaveri waters, acute water shortage that the state was facing and also owing to severe drought in many districts this year. It is indeed a matter of great concern that Bengaluru is facing one of the worst water crises in its history, and the city is in need of extra 1,680 MLD to meet its need. But you know what? The most telling proof of the water shortage is that now water tanks have been pressed into service for Chief Minister Siddaramaya's home office, which is called Krishna. Can you imagine this? I'm turning to the other camera. I'll tell you why, because I'm going to show you, this is what we are going to talk about, water tanks in Siddaramaya's home office. I mean, come on. When the CM of a state needs extra supply of water, what must be the condition of ordinary folks in IT capital Bengaluru? Look at those visuals on your screen right now. You know, you will see water tanks driving into, or rather coming very close to Siddaramaya's home, and the board says it clear. It says Siddaramaya CM home office Krishna. Now, you know what? When it rains in Bengaluru, it floods, and when there is an acute shortage, then it's just chaos.
There should not be any problem as far as the drinking water is concerned. I have instructed to take over the private borewells and also appoint tankers to supply water to the problematic villages and the wards. Whatever money is required, the government is ready to give. It's already with the DCs, 854 crores rupees are in their PD accounts, and also 140 crores is with the Rural Development Department. In addition to this money available with the DCs and the Tahsildars and the Rural Development Department, I have taken a decision to release another 70 crores rupees for drilling of new borewells.
You just heard the Chief Minister, whose house now has several water tanks. So the government has accepted that there is indeed a water crisis. And even Karnataka Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivakumar said, and I'm quoting him here, there is a massive water shortage in Bengaluru. The officials of the BWSSB, that is Bangalore Water Supply and Sewerage Board, and BBMP, which is Bruhat Bengaluru Mahanagara Palike, are holding meetings on a daily basis to overcome the issue. D.K. Shivakumar also added that the government has now identified 50% of the borewells in Bengaluru that have dried up. He said, and I'm quoting him here, We have identified that 50% of the borewells have dried up. There is a big problem. There are about 14,700 borewells in Bengaluru and 6,997 have dried up, whereas around 7,784 are working. Water doesn't belong to any individual, it's for everybody. We are creating a war room. All the officials will try and come up with a solution. We will also fix a common price for water tankers. 556 crores have been allocated for water supply.
I am very seriously looking at it. I had a meeting with all the officials. We are taking over all the tanks. We are identifying the points where our water is available. 270 taluks have been dried. More than 3,000 borewells have been dried in Bangalore. We are just looking at whatever the water is coming from Kaveri, it is coming. The fifth stage will be completed only by December. And by May end. May end it will be completed. We are at it. We will see that we provide water to very reasonable rate to all the people. We know that we are concerned about it because all the borewells have been dried, including my house borewell also has been dried.
Several areas in Bengaluru are impacted, but the areas which are suffering due to acute shortage of water are Whitefield, Mahadevapura and RR Nagar. But the irony of it all is that the CM is facing the pressure. And you can see how water tanks are now going to Siddharamaya's homecome office called Krishna. So, if the CM is in need of water, imagine what must be the condition of the ordinary citizen. In Indian politics, there is one rule. You may be bitter enemies, but then the point is there is respect for age, there is a courtesy, there is protocol. A lot of you may say, oh come on, which era are you living in? But that's the truth and that's how it should be. This is what we are talking about. Revanth Reddy calls PM Modi Big Brother. How endearing is that? It may be recalled that whenever Prime Minister Modi made a visit to Hyderabad, and this must have happened at least 6 times, the ex-Chief Minister and Chief of BRS, K. Chandrasekhar Rao or KCR would skip meeting with Prime Minister Modi. There would sometimes be an engagement which would clash, and at other times something else will come up. But over time, it became very clear that KCR did not want to meet the Prime Minister, and it did create ripples in political circles. Let alone politics, refusing to meet the Prime Minister is just so uncourteous and defies every logic in the rule book. After all, there are state governments and chief ministers who are bitter critics of the PM, but they accorded the PM the respect he deserves. Now, in sharp contrast is the newly minted Chief Minister of Telangana, Revanth Reddy. Yes, Revanth Reddy and Modi can be called political adversaries, but at a public rally in Telangana's Adilabad, speaking in a mixture of Telugu, Hindi and English, Revanth Reddy said, "Hamare hisab se Pradhan Mantri matlab bade bhai," which means in our lexicon, Prime Minister Modi is equivalent of an elder brother.
नरेंद्र मोदी जी हमारे हिसाब से प्रधानमंत्री का मतलब हमारे बड़े भाई के जो मदद रहे तो ही हर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री उनके क्षेत्र में वो कुछ तरक्की कर सकता है, कुछ डेवलपमेंट को आगे ले सकता है। इसीलिए मेरा गुजारिश है इस वक्त तेलंगाना अगर आगे तरक्की करना है, हम भी गुजरात जैसा हम आगे जाना है तो यहां पर आपकी मदद जरूरी है। अगर आपका जो सोच है 5 ट्रिलियन इकोनॉमी हम रीच होने के लिए इंडिया में 5 मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटीज है, दिल्ली, मुंबई, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad. Hyderabad is one of the metropolitan city. We wanted to contribute to your 5 trillion economy system. So please do support us in metro rail, in Musi River development. Why? Because you have developed Sabarmati River. We wanted to develop our Musi River all along with Hyderabad, which is 55 kilometers is there, which is, we wanted to regenerate our Musi River. All I need is your support.
You heard what the Chief Minister said, that if Telangana has to progress, it has to follow the Gujarat model, and that for Revanth Reddy is really makes him a statesman-like statement, because there are many chief ministers who, while stating their respective states' progress, have compared it to Gujarat, but in a very negative fashion. Oh, you do this in Gujarat, our state we have nothing. But Revanth Reddy seems to be very, very positively oriented. Revanth Reddy also asked Prime Minister for his support to help develop Telangana. He further said, for us, development means development of the poorest of the poor, development of Dalits, tribal people, backward people and the deprived. Telangana, a Congress-ruled state, does not want a confrontation with the centre and desires cordial relations. We would like to contribute to the ambitious target of a USD 5 trillion economy. So that's what it means when you are the Chief Minister of a state which could be politically opposed to what the central dispensation is. But you give Prime Minister the respect that he deserves. And with that, it's a wrap. Thank you for watching.
On October 27, 2023, the world awakened to a new crisis. A new turn in a